I'm Alexa Moore, and I'm a director of Transgender NI. So Transgender NI is a not-for-profit, and we exist to support and advocate for the human rights of transgender people in Northern Ireland. Some of the work that we do, for instance, we run the Belfast Trans Resource Centre, which is the only dedicated trans community space in the whole of the UK and Ireland, and it's right here in South Belfast. We believe it's really making a difference in the community and ensuring that often marginalised group like the trans community have a space to be themselves, have a space to find the people who have similar and shared experiences with them, and so that they're able to feel a little bit more comfortable in themselves. A lot of the other services we provide are more policy work, advocacy, that sort of stuff. So we will help folks out if they're having issues accessing healthcare, accessing education, accessing general social or statutory services. And as well as that, we also do training. So we will train and any organisation across Northern Ireland who is wanting to make themselves more open and kind of accepting and supportive of trans individuals who are using their services. But that's not all of it, really. We also do quite a significant amount of policy work and campaigning work as well. We think that now that the kind of marriage equality debate the marriage equality has been passed in Westminster, we really do believe that we need to keep our eye on the future and make sure that the rights of all LGBT people in Northern Ireland are respected and affirmed. And we believe that the focus needs to be on the trans community as well. Trans folks have very little access to healthcare, have struggled to access education because of discrimination or because of lack of appropriate and evidence-based relationships and sex ed. There are a whole host of issues affecting trans folks in Northern Ireland, and the work that we do is essentially trying to address that and trying to make sure that Northern Ireland is a more inclusive and better place for trans communities here. So evaluation and kind of ensuring that we're constantly looking at the services that we provide, the work that we do, the campaigning, the policies, all of this stuff, consistently looking at that and evaluating it is incredibly important for us. And it's also incredibly important for the community that we claim to represent. We have to actually meaningfully be representative of the views and the needs and the wants and the experiences of trans communities here in Northern Ireland. And we do that in several different ways. Like everything that happens in the Belfast Trans Resource Centre is very much shaped by our volunteers, by our service users, by their needs and their wants. And we'll constantly be evaluating how events are running, how different formats work and don't work. And it is really a kind of process of figuring out the actual meaningful impact that you're having on individuals and the impact that you're having on communities, and making sure that is a positive impact, and that you're not actually doing net harm. And it's something that we implement in our training, in our policy work, in everything. In developing our recent trans healthcare policy, we made sure to meaningfully include the community in that kind of process through a community healthcare consultation, which was a way of kind of we already had an idea in our head of what a policy should look like, but it was a way of evaluating that and saying, actually, this is what the communities on the ground are asking for, and making sure that we're reconciling our opinions and our kind of experiences and our views on how things should work with the actual needs of the people that they'll be working for. And so that is an incredibly important process. And it's not just important for ensuring that you're staying true to the needs and wants of the communities, but it's also important for basic things like funding, keeping your organisation afloat, making sure that the lights are kept on in the community space, being able to evaluate and say that, okay, we've had X amount of people who have significantly benefited from a program that we've run, or a youth group, or a general drop-in day, or a video game night, whatever the case may be, being able to say this actually helps people, and this is how it helps people, is also, helpful for getting funding, and obviously that funding is incredibly important because it enables us to continue doing the work that we do, continue making the positive impacts that we're trying to make. So there's a lot of things that maybe we can't do by ourselves because we don't have the capacity, we don't have the resources, that we're also very much a kind of volunteer-led organisation, and a lot of us and a lot of the folks that kind of run these events or do these things kind of don't have the time or the resources or anything like that to invest in things like, social media outreach and the kind of governance and, all of the nitty-gritty in the weeds stuff that running an organisation involves. And that's why it's incredibly important that there are programs like the kind of Inspiring Impacts, and that community organisations like NICVA and others in Northern Ireland exist to actually help organisations like ourselves and like others within the community sector to be the most effective that we can, and to have the most positive impact that we can. And yeah, it is incredibly important in that it gives us the skills, it gives us the abilities, it gives us all of the kind of tools that we'll need to make sure that we are actually doing the work to our best, to the best standard that we possibly can, and to make sure that we're consistently evaluating that and consistently looking at it and saying, okay, how can we do this better? How can we, run the community space better? How can we do better advocacy? How can we run better campaigns? And the tools and the kind of everything that is provided by different organisations in Northern Ireland are incredibly useful for that, especially for small not-for-profits like ourselves.